I want to try and get my tongue stuck. Hold on. No, it's not happening. It's not.
Okay. Lucy, have you always only had one tooth? You are the Larry Fessenden of Demon Puppets.
Nice.
I don't know who that is.
I could Google it.
I'm illiterate. I don't know what you want from me.
Really hard. I feel like I shouldn't be watching this.
Yeah, don't look.
Oh, Bette Midler.
Bette Midler, indeed.
We're going to get into that.
I'm going to send you an invoice from my psychiatrist.
Shall we commence? 1, 2, 3.
Commence!
Lovely.
That was pretty good, yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Aaron Christensen with Horror 101 with Dr. AC, and welcome to Streaming and Screaming. My co-hosts, Chad the Bird.
What's up?
And Lucy Ball.
How are ya?
And we are going to be chatting about 3 movies that are streaming right now on the internet. Starting off with Frogman from 2023.
Frogman. Da, da, da,
The Coffee Table from 2022.
Coffee Table.
The hard left turn.
Table. Yeah,
and then we'll take another
sharp
hard
left
turn into The Deadly Spawn from 1983. Hitting the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, you could say it's a very sharp, jagged, baby-destroying left, I think.
Spoilers!
And on that note, there will be spoilers as we discuss these movies, but you knew that, right? When you tuned in, everybody knew that. If you didn't, we're going to be talking spoilers, and we're going to start off with Frogman.
Frogman!
Lucy, this was your recommendation, so I'm going to let you tell us what Frogman is all about.
One, you're goddamn right it was my recommendation. I will recommend Frogman all day and tomorrow to anybody who needs something fun to watch. So, allow me to start, if I may, at the beginning. Frogman is all about this guy, and he's a, we'll say, wannabe film director. And you can't really say wannabe, because he has made a handful of films, as cheap and backyardy as they may be. It's more films than I've made. Anyway, when he's a kid, he's on some traumatic family vacation where the parents are arguing and just generally being awful. And he sees the Frogman. What the Loveland Frogman, which is a, as legit as cryptids go. It's a legit cryptid.
Is it actually a cryptid?
Yeah, they have a Frogman festival in Loveland, Ohio. That's a piece of trivia for you. Take that to the bar.
Is he also a wizard like he is in the movie?
I think that's artistic liberty.
I love that. I love that happens.
I was looking around, and I did find some Loveland Frogman patches where he is holding a little scepter. So that may be a part of the lore. I'm not a folklorologist, whatever.
Oh, if you didn't think there wasn't a frog wizard in this movie, get the fuck out of here.
Go somewhere.
There's the door.
So he caught footage of the Frogman when he was a little boy, and then as an adult, some dude on YouTube made a video that was saying the guy's a fraud and a phony, and he's a loser, and he sucks, and he gets no girls, and all sorts of other stuff. And the guy took that shit personally, so he decided to trek out to Loveland and find the Frogman.
Frogman!
And he mostly finds a bunch of weird local yokel types until shit hits the fan about an hour and a half into the movie.
I was going to say 2 hours in.
Yeah, it takes a while to get there, but it's really cool. I saw a lot of buzz online about this before it was widely available and was always really excited about it. And up until the beginning of this month, it was only available for like rent on YouTube or other VOD platforms.
Right.
And I gladly forked over my $4 for that movie. Yeah, but as of June 7th, you can go check this one out on Screambox. Big shout out to Screambox, by the way. Not the
Screambox!
Yeah, obligatory, not a sponsor. They don't give me any money, but I think their product is really cool, and they give a wicked spotlight to all kinds of indie and cult grindhousey type movies. Check them out. They're really awesome. And they got Frogman.
Frogman.
See, I'm glad that we stepped out of the Shudder box, and we've got 3 different movies that are streaming from different places this time. So good on us. Look at us spreading our wings.
Stepping us out of the shutters.
You know about that, Chad.
Yeah,
And,
well, I mean, I don't know how far that's gonna spread. It's pretty.
yeah, he's got
spry.
pretty puny wings.
Yeah,
But
don't
on
eat me.
the internet creator tip here, Screambox is also like very responsive to small timers like myself. They'll definitely get in contact and talk with you, and they're just really sweet, cool people that are putting out a great product. And more eyeballs need to be on it. I love those friggin' guys.
Let's get him on the show. Let's call him right now. Ask him
Done.
about. We'll talk about Frogman because I'll talk about Frogman all day.
Let's do it right now. Talk about
Frogman!
What'd you think of Frogman, Chad?
I don't have my phone with me because I'm professional. But I wish I did because I would look up what I texted to Lucy as soon as it was over. Because I feel like it was just me going, Frogman! over and over.
Which is basically then what you've been doing on the show.
I had the best. It's the only way to watch the movie.
Yeah, I think he all caps. Hold on, I'm not a professional, and I
Yeah,
think
well, you're a demon. You don't have to be.
But it was effectively Frogman in all caps, followed by Frogman fucks, which is effectively the tagline of this.
Yep. I thought it was so much fun and not at all what I was thinking it would be, and like covered all the bases of how you do found footage when you were aware that like no one really believes this is real. Because like with Blair Witch, they have the ups. They were like, no, this is real. And people were like, well, I don't know if it is or it isn't. But with Frogman, they're like, you know this is bullshit. Strap in, though. And then by the end, you're all in. And I love where it goes. I love that it turns it on towards the end. Yes. I just kept sitting the whole time going, okay, I love Frogman. I'm a fan of Frogman. Frogman.
I wasn't sure. I got to
Frogman.
say, I was confused as to whether it was going to be a parody of a Blair Witch type exploration or if I was supposed to be taking it seriously. So I wasn't quite sure. It took me a little bit to kind of buy into this one because, as you say, the found footage rules are right out the window.
Oh, yeah, we don't give a shit.
You're like, nobody actually ever shot this footage or assembled this footage, or it's just kind of, footage.
Yeah, I love that like no one really tells you, like they're using an SVHS player too. Like it feels vintage.
Yeah, and I really dig though that they did that. That they didn't like wrap themselves up in the trapping of found footage, because it plays out like a traditional narrative style movie, just shot on like a hand cam instead of as if you're organically watching the action go down.
Right. With a traditional movie without a cinematographer.
Yeah. Or a learning cinematographer, maybe.
Now, let me ask you both: do you like Blair Witch Project?
Oh, absolutely!
Yeah.
I love that
Hell
freaking
yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Well, not everybody does. So I just want to clarify because we've got our two guys, one woman, and like it seems like it's kind of being a Blair Witch spin. And if you thought the folks in Blair Witch were annoying,
but the will they, won't they, Aaron? The will they, won't they?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
So
I didn't care.
That I had a couple of qualms. As much
You've
as I
got
did love the
notes. You
film.
always have notes.
Yeah, because I'm mean and cynical and a demon. So I gotta kind of do
It's
that.
on par.
But I could have done without the I can't remember the quote unquote character's name, but I could have done without so much of this from that one woman there.
Norma Jean.
Norma Jean.
Yeah, I could have done with
Amy
hell of a lot less Norma Jean in that whole goddamn picture.
It was like an Always Sunny in Philadelphia bit, where people were like, "It's not funny, D. It's not funny, D," and she just keeps doing it. And you're like, well, I guess this is the joke, I guess.
Oh my god, I can so see that now that you say it though. Yeah, I can absolutely. It's what's it? Crazy Patty. It's Crazy Patty.
Yeah, let it go. Go ahead. We're not going to stop you. We just don't like it.
We have Dallas, who is our frog seeking person, the one who saw the Frogman in 1999, the year that Blair Witch came out, yet another kind of nod to the BWP. And then we have Scotty is our cinematographer and pal. And then we have Amy, who is the person that Dallas definitely has some interest in.
You don't say.
Yeah,
and
no way.
Subtle.
And I think
that was the subtext.
That's what I mean. I feel like this is supposed to, pay off in some way. And I don't know that it actually does. It just, we spend a lot of time going, okay.
Oh, can we throw a spoiler up?
Oh, please. Well, we already did like a grand scheme spoiler, but yes.
Oh, I guess I'm just trying to be polite. Allow me to
that's
be
great.
polite.
That's great.
Oh, they have to be all romantically entwined. Otherwise, why does he give a shit to go into those tunnels at the end of the movie? Because you can't
friends.
be
You can't just be
friendly with
friends. You
somebody.
can't just be
No,
buds.
no.
Nope.
You can't just care about people. You gotta want to put
Has to be
babies in
romance. Yep.
Yep. I will say, I mean, since we got the spoilers banner up, I did think that the moment when they find the faux frogman in the woods, that was pretty funny.
Oh, it was absolutely hilarious.
If it had gone to credits,
guy,
I would have clapped. Oh, do you really?
No, not the actor, but like
okay.
guys like that. You know what I'm saying?
I would have clapped if it had gone to credits in that moment.
That would have been
like, perfect.
Awesome. Oh my
Fantastic.
God. Yeah.
Well done.
Bait and switch.
Love
Bait
it.
and switch.
You guys are dicks. But they do bring it home. They land this wonky ass plane really well.
That is,
like
I will say that
last half of good journey right there.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to be willing to go along for the ride for the first 45 minutes, maybe an hour.
Oh, you're being generous. It's a lot
it's
longer.
At least an hour and 30.
It feels a lot longer, if nothing else.
But
I watched it in shifts.
Once you get into the frog cult aspect of it, which again, I love the fact that they early on they talk about the frogman being maybe telepathic and maybe he uses a wand, and I'm like, he's telepathic?
Yep.
He uses a wand, and then you're like, nope, that's absolutely true. He's telepathic.
Well, power creep is a real trouble these days. You just got to keep going up and up and up.
I do love that there's just like, we're going to set this up at the beginning and you're going to go, no. And then at the end, they're like, no, yeah.
I mean, I like the flute, the frog flute. Like, I mean, they drop
piece
all this
of
stuff
PVC pipe, you mean?
Nope.
Yeah, this is made for like, $1.50. And it's a very cheap looking, and I think intentionally so. On the one hand, I find that charming. On the other hand, I'm like, is this just an excuse so that we don't scrutinize it as closely? But I think if you're in a generous mood, you can have a lot of fun with this one.
I thought that the end with the actual like cult and stuff, I thought that looked really good.
Like the last 20 minutes,
totally.
Yeah, the last 20 minutes, I was like, oh, where has this movie been?
I also liked that touch at the end where he's screening the film and is like taken by the essence of the frogman. But you talk about
the cheap. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, he's being taken by the essence.
That's how
we saw the same movie, right?
But he's spreading the word about the
frog essence,
thus giving the frogman more power. But you talk about the cheapy look and the little. We talked about the PVC pipe and all that. The dude with his hand up my butt back here grew up in like a little middle of nowhere cryptid town, and that's how it is. Like in the wondrous mystical world of Caye, North Carolina, there's a creature known as Nobby, the Bellwood Wampus Cat, and that's
too many names.
It's one name with a lot of words. It's Nobby, the Bellwood Wampus Cat. But it's like a sort of bargain bin Bigfoot. And some guy has recently come out, recently as in like 14 years ago, has come out and said that it was him in a gorilla costume scaring people away from his still. But it's a huge legend. It got out on the news for a while. And you could buy Nobby Git sticks.
Oh no!
And that you would, shake and yell, "Get Nobby, get!" to keep him from being in your yard or whatever. And it like there was a Nobby festival. It totally sweeps up a town like that, and it was cool to see that represented in a film because that's just sort of how it is.
We got Mothman out here.
Not here. I mean, really, it's Point Pleasant, but yes, we have the little Chicago Mothman.
We have the Chicago Mothman.
We have. I mean,
he's our Mothman.
You can't take that from West Virginia.
Well,
you friggin' carpetbaggers always coming around.
That's
we have the Yankee Mothman.
Oh yeah. What, he eats hot dogs with tomatoes and shit on them? Is that the thing?
He puts whole salads on his dogs.
Stupid.
But yes, I remember when I went down to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and went to the Mothman Festival. It is charming, that kind of small town. And I absolutely recognize that. I mean, Roswell is similar in that, like, it's all about the aliens and all
And
the
the
kitschy
street
stuff.
lamps look like alien heads. It's awesome.
Yep.
Go with what you know.
So I did enjoy that kind of world building there. And I love the fact that there's a guy running around being Frogman at night. The host of the B&B, sends the folks that away so that they will encounter the Frogman. That said, when you get to the end and you see the actual Frogman, like with his tongue wrapped around our hero, I was like,
so
whoa,
cool.
So good.
And I also really liked the grody breathing pods that were all up in the tunnels. That was awesome.
I don't understand that for a second. Like, what is happening? Like, why is the girl inside the egg and she's pregnant? Like, how does this work?
Well, you clearly don't understand frogs. I don't know why you guys got quiet for that. Okay, you really honestly, like, there was nothing to back that up.
Well, because I was like, that's not how frogs breed.
That's not how frogs work.
But that's how frogmans breed.
Oh, that's what it is. How Lovecraftian frog people work.
I was like, wait, you're supposed to like lay the eggs and then like, spooge all over them. Like, that's how frogs.
I don't like how you said that.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I don't like it.
Must be Wednesday.
But that's not what happens here. Yeah. In this case, I guess Frogman like has his way with some comely lass and then puts her into a pod.
You said comely
twice. I've said it almost twice now. And then you put her in the pod and she stays there for a while.
Put her in the pod.
Stick her in the pod already.
But
I also enjoyed that. They just kept.
Actually,
I was gonna say, Lucy, I feel like this is just an average Tuesday for you.
Yeah, it was. I felt very represented and seen, and I will be writing a think piece about it. Thank you.
Thick. I thought that was fun though, because it was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, and I feel like that's helpful in a Lovecrafty kind of like cosmic horror moment where you're like, oh, I'm not supposed to understand what's happening. Yeah, I'm just gonna figure this out on my own time.
I think it exists not to make sense, but to make you go, what?
Huh?
They stuck her. She what? I think it's there to just break.
Frogman is a wizard. That's just like canonical.
Now, I don't think he's okay. You want to get that way about it? He's not a wizard. He's probably some kind of a sorcerer or a warlock. He doesn't gain his magical abilities through reading books and other shit. He's got that on lockdown.
Wouldn't it be amazing though if he had an iPad and if he was just like, hang on a second.
Hang on, my Amazon is not coming through. Ribbit.
Oh my God, the chanting was all. I loved that at the end you get Frogman metal song. Like straight up metal.
Yeah, that was
Frog Lord, right? Isn't that the band Frog Lord?
Frog Lord.
Yes. And yes, do more of that. Movies, do more of that. Rap recaps and metal bands.
Yeah, look, me when the doom metal fucking sucks. Let's go! Yeah, it was awesome.
I mean, you can't go wrong. It's a perfect little stoner movie, but it's not like fun, stupid, like Freaked.
No, definitely not.
It's not fun, stupid.
Don't look at me when you talk about that, okay? I don't like that.
Don't look me in the eyes when it is. Or like Krampus, which is like a fun, goofy, stonery kind of Christmas movie. This movie's like, you gotta like give it time to breathe.
Yep.
And then at the end, you'll be happy about it. It's just not like, I'll have my friends over, we'll get wasted and watch this one. It's not that level of dumb.
It's unironically, ironically a slow burn. It's really weird. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I would say that's true. Cause you kind of have to just be, you think you're in for another movie and then it becomes a different movie.
Yeah. You think you're in for a Deadstream and it's not Deadstream.
Yeah. You're so right. Yeah. Cause I totally thought it was going to be a big goof on the whole way through.
I liked it when we get out there and we got green slime and we got her losing her mind for a second. And I was it's actually turning the corner here.
Yeah, it gets a little Outwaters. You're welcome, Lucy.
Yeah, thank you very much. Much like my love for the Outwaters, a quick way to get me on board with your movie is either have a impossible landscape, a series of looping endless rooms, or a person dealing with altered time perception or lost time. That always just tickles a special part of my brain that I get so into in a film. So I love seeing that.
The cave sequences were like super upsetting and confusing, where they were just like, "Well,
Yeah.
we're in the cave now, and now we're
Yeah.
lost." I'm like, "Oh shit!"
And
There's
then
still
old
30
dude with
minutes
the
left.
gauge just blasted.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh
yep.
God, I was so happy when the dude came back. I was like, the lore of this movie. You just keep giving me good stuff. I didn't expect it.
Yeah,
And
I was almost checked out until they went to that guy's house and he was like, "You need to get out of here."
Yo,
It's like, now we're getting somewhere.
it was like a
Bring it
real, like when you see a really good show, like your friend's niece is in like college prep, and they're like, "Hey man, come check it out. I know it's college kids," and they're like, "You know what, dude? They fucking nailed it. That was a good time.
Yeah.
They didn't give a shit. Confidently into the darkness." And I was like, "I'll follow you anywhere, Frogman." I think is what I texted you.
Frogman to the dark.
I have to give a little shout out because I didn't realize that he worked on it, but my friend John Pata was the editor on this film.
Whoa!
Nice.
And he directed this film, Dead Weight. And I was like, wait a minute, I know that guy. So
Dude.
that was fun to see him.
Tell him he did a good job. You did a good job.
Yeah,
Fuck
yeah.
yeah.
If you're listening,
He's watching.
you did
He's
great.
watching.
A plus.
Cool.
Frogman. That's my only review.
And now we take our hard left turn as predicted to the coffee table.
Yeah, let's go.
Wow.
Let's go.
Wow.
Yeah. You
Wow.
thought you knew horror. You thought you knew terror. You knew nothing until you met the coffee table.
Now this one came with a ton of hype. This one came
Yeah,
with a
big
ton
time.
of hype.
Oh,
Which is
everybody-
why I got excited about it, because I get excited about hype. I love when people
Oh, hang
hype
on.
shit up.
I broke my eyebrows. Let me... Hold on, technical difficulties.
That's what happens when you ride the coffee table, man.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's even worse now.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is how you guys find out I paint them on.
We
we
always
go, that's
knew.
better.
We never judged.
Much better, much better.
That's
Yeah,
what you
yeah.
looked like watching the coffee table.
So Chad and I
looked a
got
lot
to
more like this. Here's my phone.
Aaron and I got to see this. What Dr. AC,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one and
we-
only,
we
got
watched
to see
this
this
one together.
together.
and
Yeah,
and
I could have
screaming.
done with some company.
Yep.
It was
It
a
It
tough
is a
alone
movie you
watch.
should watch with someone else.
And that is exactly what I said when I texted you, Lucy. I was like going, imagine you're watching it with somebody if you can't watch it with somebody, because
Yeah.
I was imagining seeing this because it actually won Best Film at the Brussels International Fantastic Film Festival, which I've
can see
attended.
that, yeah.
And the Biff crowds are notorious for having, like, they're so loud and so rowdy, and they shout at the movie screen the whole time. And people, like, filmmakers will be like, "Oh, they hate my movie." And they're like, no, they love your movie.
That's
Yeah,
good
that's
news.
the film
You want
festival
that.
for me. I'd
Yep.
love to go to
All
that.
And
in.
so I'm like, I can just imagine what the Biff crowd made of this movie, because Chad and I were kind of doing that. Like about 10 minutes in, we started yelling, and I don't think we stopped yelling for the next 70 minutes. We just
Nope.
kept yelling at the screen and at
It
each
was
other.
a ride, man. Just
Yeah.
gripping the bar like, ah, for 70 minutes.
Since I didn't get to be there with you guys, and look, let it be known
Yeah.
that if this doesn't show that I care about you fuckers, I don't know what's gonna do it, okay? But I took notes during this one, okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I would like to share a few of the highlights with you.
Please.
Please
And-
proceed.
Okay, so the first thing I noticed is the salesman is an actual ghoul.
Yup. I
let's
called
see.
that one too. I screamed that as soon as he showed up. I went, Demon!
And then the guy says, "Well, it wasn't the right time to have kids." And I thought, you guys are old. And then
They are.
the next line, she says, "Well, I'm not getting any younger." So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, well, they're
Yeah.
acknowledging it.
They know that, yeah.
They know that.
When they get home, okay, so the dude is also very real for hoisting that god awful table up the stairs in that tiny apartment.
Felt it.
When that one lady says time is almost up for your wife, I was like, damn, they keep it real in Spain, huh?
Yup.
And
The rain
then,
in Spain falls plainly. It's in the rhyme.
Oh, they do say that, yeah. And then let's see, I didn't
Also,
understand.
you're old.
They actually don't
You're
speak.
old. You're gonna die. So good.
I don't see why, or well, I guess I do see by the end, but I didn't understand why this little girl was doing telenovela stuff at the man. That was weird.
Yes.
It was. I did have a good laugh when he's putting the table together and he sees that there's a screw missing, and I was like, "Oh man, those Swedes!" And then he says, "Those fucking Swedes." So I thought that was pretty funny. Let's see. I hated that it panned on the sharp edges of the glass for so long.
Yep. Love that.
Just so you know, everybody, sharp and unbreakable.
Oh, and unbreakable. I didn't make a note of that, but
two things you shouldn't have. You should have either sharp or unbreakable. If you have them both, you're aching for it.
I would prefer rounded and unbreakable. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's see. The nature of this couple's relationship really stresses me out.
Yep.
Oh, and then the next 4 lines are no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh my God, followed by unbreakable my ass.
That should have been the last line of the movie.
And then followed by, well, the relationship isn't stressing me out anymore. I did think, we can throw the spoiler up here.
Yeah, we probably should.
When he drops the baby, the way all the sound falls out, I thought that was like, picture perfect horror filmmaking.
Yep.
I did not like that they showed the shitted diaper and him changing the.
That was so rough.
That was cruel. That was cruel and unusual.
Rough.
And you know what, Chad? I'll recall my invoice to you. I'm going to send my psychiatrist invoice to that director.
Yeah.
For that scene alone, that was messed up.
That was messed up.
Also, he doesn't really clean the baby.
No, he just goes,
he doesn't know. He just this is grody. This is nasty.
He just takes one diaper off, puts it in
the amount of times this guy's just like,
God. What does that tell you about his bathroom habits? Huh?
Yeah, right.
He's European. Right. They ought to have a bidet. What's going on?
Well, he's not a good father.
No, obviously.
He's never been alone with his child before.
He hasn't had long enough.
I think the next thing I wrote is, we might have to put some senses on this one. It's, bro, there is no coming back from this. You have to kill yourself now.
There's so many times when he entertains it, I'm like,
just do it already. God, I would have been there.
So we can go home. Yeah, I'm stuck here too.
Let's see. My heart breaks for the guy when he puts the baby in the crib. That also really touched my tiny black heart. I also thought it was very strange that he now has to cover for a dead baby, a broken table, the lacerations on his hand, and why he's in a different outfit.
Yes!
There's a lot of questions you got to answer real quick.
And he goes for it. Oh, my God. I was so proud of him.
And then he goes and talks to the little girl while he's covered in blood. And he's like, oh, no, I was painting the bedroom. It's cool.
His wife comes in. She's like, holy shit, there's a lot of blood on the carpet. He's like, yeah, I cut myself. She's like, that's a lot of blood for you cutting yourself. And he's like, anyway.
Don't worry about it. And then I'm just blasting through these. I'm going to skip some. But the salesman shows back up.
Yep.
And he starts flirting with the guy.
Yep.
That was odd. But I do have to imagine he could have fixed everything if he had just ran off to San Francisco with the guy. Yeah. And they could have started a combination goat yoga and coffee shop or something.
That was his out. He had an out.
Yep.
But I did also have to think, he hands him the bag with the missing screw. And I'm like, oh, thanks. This is the exact screw I needed to not kill my infant son. Now I'm going to go use it to go full Oedipus and pluck my eyes out.
Yep.
But and then it's just a bunch more. Oh no! Oh no! Oh my God! Oh no!
Right.
Oh no!
Because his brother and his brother's 18-year-old teenage lover Squeeze comes over, and that just complicates things even further. I think that's now. Here's my question to both of you: this is billed as a black comedy? Does it feel like a comedy to you? Because I know some people have said, no, it's not a comedy. It's not funny.
I think so.
I thought it was kind of like a comedy of errors at the end of a week-long meth bender. I can see where the humor is there, but it was so bleak that I did not find myself laughing at any of it.
I, on the other hand, laughed from jump. Like right when it got into it, I was like, oh, I think those were my notes. Yeah. I do remember the entire first half of the movie, because it happens like 20 minutes in. So like that first 20 minutes,
waste no time.
I was sitting next to Dr. AC and I just kept going, oh, they're going to kill that baby. That baby's going to die. They're going to kill that baby. And then the baby died and I was like, yeah, they killed that baby. Now what are you going to do, buddy?
Now what are you going to do? And that's what the rest, and that's the thing. I feel like it goes to a place that's so horrible that it has to be funny. Like it's the thing you're sitting around with your friends. Like, what's the worst thing that could possibly happen right now? And then you come up with
drop that baby.
And then you go, oh, and then you're like laughing at how awful it is. And I feel like this director just lives in that spot for almost 90 minutes.
Yeah. The majority of the movie is it's true horror, right? Because like the majority of the movie is you dealing with something
You're
horrible.
just waiting to see how is this ever going to come out.
How is it going to come out? Who's going to win on this one? No one wins. We lost.
Yeah. You know who wins? The guy who got my $4 for watching
$4
movie.
on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
There was so much of me and Dr. AC just being like, what the fuck is he going to do, man? What's he going to do? Just screaming, gripping the couch like we were on a roller coaster.
Well, we know what he's going to do.
Yeah. Going to eat that baby. He didn't eat the baby.
Well, that's what I was thinking when you were talking about, you said, what's the most horrible thing? I remember back in the day when those like, deceased baby jokes were like everybody's bread and butter.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's right.
This movie kept me going back to my favorite of that time where it's like, how do you get 100,000 babies into a phone booth? Wood chipper.
Wood chipper.
Yep.
How do you get 100,000 babies out of a phone booth?
Don't know.
Tostinos. Yeah. This movie could have used a little bit more of that, I think.
I think that was my only note on my notes was this is just one long dead baby joke.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm here for it.
Because
and that was the other thing, Dr. AC, you said, sorry to interrupt.
No, please.
But that's what I do. Dr. AC, at one point you were like, well, if you're going to do it, this is the best way to do it. Like it seemed respectful in a weird way. In a fucked up, messed up, bleak way, that's the best way to do a dead baby movie.
Well, and I feel like it doesn't cheat on the emotions. Like the reason it works is because everybody is 100% invested in it, and it never feels like a joke. It never feels like there's no winking at all.
Even in the times where they want it to feel like a joke, it doesn't really feel like a joke.
It's like the movie's laughing, and you're like, no one's laughing, bro.
I don't think we get it.
I don't think that's funny.
Well, there's a dead baby head underneath the chair.
Oh, I screamed.
Yeah, the scream I scrum when that got revealed. I mean, you mean to tell me you just left the friggin' head and nobody has noticed the head under the chair?
Yep. The dog
when
though.
Dog showed up. I was like, dog's going for it.
That was another one of my notes was, not the dog.
Yup.
And, another thing that I thought was kind of cool, when right before everything just goes all the way to shit at the dinner party and he's hallucinating the blood everywhere. And it made me think of like being on hallucinogens at a family dinner and trying to be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. This must be what it's like to be stoned in front of your parents. This movie.
Yeah, it kind of is actually, now that I think.
I want to give a shout out to our writer-director, Caye Casas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was co-written by Christina Borobia.
Yup.
And I think the fact that you do have a male-female writing team, I think that feels very authentic. Like the dynamic between those two feels completely
because she could have easily been like the shrew wife, and he could have easily just been a meathead husband, but there were like actual human experiences going on there that I thought were really complicated, even in the midst of a dead baby joke.
Well,
imagine that "Am I the asshole?" thread on Reddit.
when she laughs,
man or bear,
when she laughs at the coffee table breaking and just like is hysterical I turned to Chad and I went, that is the last time she will ever laugh
again,
and she will turn back the time in her head. She'd be like, I was laughing while my baby's head was under the chair,
like 3 feet away from my friggin' feet, and I didn't notice it.
I loved
you were
how
looking
scary...
at the blood stain on the rug.
Yeah.
And you couldn't look.
Couldn't just keep going because it keeps going, man.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
fact that
almost like a trail.
Yeah, of blood from the thing that you haven't seen yet. Oh, it's just my finger. Anyway,
Well,
supper.
And it wasn't even his finger, it was his hand.
Yeah,
I
his
would have
whole
called
fucking
bullshit
hand.
immediately. This woman did not trust her intuition, and for that, -3 stars.
Well, she was also in the midst of figuring out what kind of wine they were going to have that night.
That's an important decision. That's true.
I thought that was the
expensive
scariest
one?
part.
I did get a good laugh when she's talking to a friend there.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, the bastard." And the little girl's like, "Is the bastard dad?" "Yes, the bastard is your father." I thought that was very funny.
Well, and the fact that, like, I mean, they just keep like twisting the knife, like saying, you know, this is all I ever wanted was to be a mother. And, you know, we weren't sure for the longest time if I'd be able to, and I'm just like, oh, director, writer, why must you hurt me so?
Well, but sucks to suck, I guess.
but I loved that they kept going there and they didn't let up. Like they played fair. I think that's the thing. Like they just kept going, no, this is what we said we were going to do. And we're going to keep doing it. We're not going to let you off the hook. And we're going to go all the way to the end, as opposed to something like Speak No Evil, where it's bleak. There's no comedy there. Like it doesn't feel like you're laughing.
That is the singularly least funny
movie
I've ever seen.
Frustrated. You're frustrated with the characters. Here, I don't feel like you're frustrated. You're just like your heart's breaking like all over the place.
Yeah, right, because it's an accident. Speak No Evil is like a direct assault.
Right, yeah.
I remember when that movie was over, I talked to Lucy and I was like, I just want to go hang out with Santa for a little while.
Yeah,
it's just me and C Claus hanging loose.
Yeah, he needed all kinds of warm fuzzies after that one. I did feel like this was a lot less mean-spirited than Speak No Evil is. But it does fall into the same camp of beautiful, fantastic movie that I will not be watching.
No, we're not doing that again.
You might watch it again if you have somebody who goes, I want to watch The Coffee Table. And you're like, cool, I want to watch you watch The Coffee Table.
I got
fun to watch you.
I got some friends that I would put through that movie now that I think about it. But yeah, and you know, that's the thing. I made what do you even call them now that they don't call the website that? I made a tweet talking about coming to record this very thing here. Yeah. It was like, oh man, I can't wait to record this next episode so I can berate beloved comedy icon Chad DeBoyd for making me watch The Coffee Table. And a lot of people were in the replies like, oh no, I heard it was very good. What, you didn't like it? And I said, no, it's incredible. But oh my God, I have so many unspecified damages that need to be worked out now.
Yeah, usually it's me not going for the disturbing ones. Usually it's me having to talk to you and be like, God damn, the Outwaters with the fucking ending. Oh my God, with the blood. But no, this time I got to reign. I got to be in charge. I got to drive the sled.
It feels pretty good.
Feels
it?
pretty goddamn good. Pretty sweet. I'm happy that it was good, because if it sucked, I would have been really embarrassed.
Well, and this is, I want to put this out there for any of you watching who haven't seen the film and are like, I don't know why you would be this way.
Like, why are you still here?
Yeah, why are you here?
Well, I'm making, if you haven't seen the film and you're like, well, they spoiled it, I guess there's no point. I spoiled this movie for myself like 4 weeks ago.
Wait, you did? You knew what was going to happen?
Yeah, totally. I knew everything except for how it was going to end.
Okay,
right.
Okay.
So I knew that, you know, the baby was going to go kaputs, and I knew that he was going to try and cover it up for as long as possible. I went in fully aware of all of that, and it still was incredibly effective.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's cool. Because I didn't know a damn thing. I knew that the director,
actively didn't know either.
I do think that's the way to do it, but it doesn't detriment or like harm the film in any way if you do know what's going to go on.
I had heard one quote from the director. The director saying, "I like to make people uncomfortable." And
well,
I'm like, cool.
That's apparent.
Do you, bud?
But
he's good at it.
I definitely, he's very good at it. And I certainly am looking forward to seeing what comes next.
Yes, please.
Also, Spanish horror. If you are watching this and you haven't delved into the Spanish horror because you're like, hey, I don't like subtitles, get over it and watch you some Spanish horror, because between like Alex de la Iglesia and Paco Plaza and Jaime Balaguerro. I mean, there's some of the greatest horror coming out of Spain. There's a film called Sleep Tight that is another kind of mean-spirited movie that you just keep watching going, oh no, and you keep watching because it's brilliant. And so Spanish cinema, go get some now.
Did you watch that Veronica movie? You've seen?
I sure did. Yeah,
that was awesome. I love that movie. Yeah,
I thought that had really like a couple of really cool shots in that movie.
Yeah, and I normally am like, I've normally had it like all the way up to here and beyond with like Catholic horror films.
Sure.
I really dug that one. I thought that was really good.
I think that's Paco Plaza.
It is, yeah, I think so.
He and Paco Plaza and Jaime Balaguerro co-directed the Rec films, the first two, and then Paco Plaza directed Rec 3 and Jaime Balaguerro directed Rec 4.
And for the uninitiated, the first couple of Recs went on to be Quarantine here in the United States.
Yes, they did.
To their own detriment.
I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Go watch the original Rec films, REC. They are found footage done right, and I can't recommend them enough.
One of the few found footage movies I think that actually like gave me hope in like this is what you can do with this genre. Like I believe that this is real. I know it's not, but I believe that it's real just because of the conceit that they give you, as opposed to all the other found footage movies. Was like keep the camera rolling. I'm like, ain't no way you would keep filming in Frogman's lair. Fuck off.
I don't know if the lighting and ambience is good. I'm gonna get.
It's true. It was a really well lit cave.
Well, and I will say, Rec 3 is what I love about that movie is that it starts off found footage, and then it gets to that point you just mentioned, Chad, where it's like they wouldn't keep filming, and it stops doing that, and it goes into a regular narrative. I'm like, who has the balls to do that?
Why
tell
would
you
do
who.
that?
Paco Plaza.
Is Rec 3 the one with the chainsaws?
It's the wedding, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I don't know if you liked it. Did you like it?
I haven't seen it in a very long time, but I thought it was cool. I remember that much.
I've only seen the first Rec because after that was over, I was like, you can't do any better than that.
No, you need to see Rec 2 because they really stretch out the mythology in a way that you're like, how'd you do that? It's kind of magical.
I love a Frogman.
Speaking of another hard left turn, the Deadly Spawn is our Wayback Machine.
Spawn!
And I thought this was the great kind of palate cleanser after the coffee table.
We watched it right after the coffee table.
I did the same thing. I stayed up like 2 hours later than I should have to get that other movie out of my brain.
Because you know what you need after you see the coffee table? Dick monster.
Well, I was going to say giant worms, but it's interesting where your mind goes.
Well, I think this is actually I think it's a combination of phallus and vagina. like that monster is like every Oedipal nightmare wrapped up in one.
So would you call that Yalek or
maybe
or
Yalek.
like because Yannick is the vagina version of phallic. So you could either say
dickworm.
Well, it's like
vagina. I like dickworm. That's good.
It's dickworm with vagina dentata on the side.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Keith, the musical coming to a theater near you.
Man,
these are the kind of conversations you want to have after you see the coffee table.
Can't we just shout out?
Movie's so good.
Quick shout out for Teeth because oh my god, what a great movie!
Film. Yeah.
If you haven't seen Teeth, pop that in next on your streaming device.
Also wildly uncomfortable, but not quite as bad as the coffee.
Yeah, it's
really,
a lot more
really
fun.
funny. Really funny.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, The Deadly Spawn.
Spawn.
That was my movie, and I don't think Chad, you'd seen it a long time ago. Lucy, you'd never seen it?
Nope, I had seen the box like at the video store.
Oh my god, the greatest box art.
Oh, it's awesome poster, yeah. But I had never watched it before now, and I'm very glad I did. I had a lot of fun.
Well, fun fact: the poster art was created by the father of the young boy who's our lead, the monster kid.
Yeah, the famous monsters dude.
It was his dad, his real life dad was the one who did the poster art. Like this is a real
pretty
kind of
sweet.
Yeah. This is one that I discovered through my friend John Kitley, but also in the amazing, indispensable book Nightmare USA by Stephen Thrower. It devotes an entire chapter to this movie, and it deserves to be celebrated because I think it is a great monster movie, no budget, and
No budget, but awesome creature.
but incredible.
Yeah.
And that's
monster.
what's his name? We looked him up too. It's like John Dodds.
John Dodds.
Dodds, right? And he ended up doing a bunch of movies like Death Becomes Her and stuff like that. He's got a really great resume.
But
I did get a good laugh out of there's a part where a worm is like climbing up a toilet and you can see the puppet rod like right on the back of the worm. I thought that was very good.
Loved it.
Yeah. Ted Bohus is the producer, and he worked with Don Dohler out of Baltimore. And this film was shot in New Jersey. So it makes sense. So I love that kind of regional independent filmmaking.
Good morning, Baltimore. Worms are crawling up through the floor. That's all I got.
This was also supposed to be, all the rain that takes place during the movie, because they wanted to have a reason for there to be flooding in the basement. And so they came up with this idea of, okay, well, we'll have rain throughout the movie. It apparently was shot during a heat wave drought in New Jersey. So they had to keep hiding the hoses from the cops. Like whenever the cops would come around, they'd have to hide that we're not using any water over here. Of course not. That'd be irresponsible.
I see about 15,000 gallons in the past week. What you been doing over here?
Bathing.
Wow.
John Dodds did work on Spookies, which is
that was a
great film. Yeah.
And he lent his talents to big budget films, like you said, Ghostbusters 2,
right?
Death Becomes Her. But he also did Night Beast with Don Dohler as well.
All right.
So, but yes,
it's got all the trappings of all of that kind of stuff. It's everything you want in a creature feature. It's campy and it's very 80s.
It may very well be the perfect drive-in movie.
Yeah, hundo.
Because it starts off in just kind of like a sleepy Sunday morning, like you kind of just hanging out with these characters. And then 10 minutes later, they go down to the basement and get eaten by a giant deadly spawn. And it continues to introduce characters and we get to know them a little bit. And then they run around and try and avoid being eaten by the deadly spawn. And the deadly spawn is such a great monster. Like it's basically
too many teeth.
So many teeth, like rows and rows of teeth. That's what made me think of the vagina dentata, is that there's just teeth for days, but it is aboard a very phallic
dickworm. It's okay. We said it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Man,
and there's
the
so
blow
many of
that
them
was
too.
going around the writing rooms in the 80s, man.
Yeah, this movie was brought to you by cocaine. It should be noted.
I also do like that in every mid to late 80s or mid to late 80s themed horror property, you always got to have the one kid who's really into famous monsters of filmland and has all the EC comics. It's such a clear projection from one of the writers, and I always love it. I guess as a person who was that child, but it's always so cool to see this is this writer's self-insert for sure.
At the point where you realize that's what that kid does, and he knows what's going on, Dr. AC leans over and goes, "Monster Kid," and it made me love it even more because I was hanging out with a monster kid.
Writer-director Doug McKeown is our guy behind the scene, and Ted Bohus and John Dodds brought the project to him because they wanted him to direct the actors, because they only wanted to do the monster stuff. And he said, well, I can't just do the actors. I need to kind of direct the movie overall. And so he wrote the script for it. And yeah, you can see his fingerprints all over it. Fun fact about Doug McKeown, who I actually met here in Chicago. There was a screening of The Deadly Spawn over at the Patio Theater back in the day.
Oh, the Patio.
And what a sweet human being he is. But he was an English teacher for a while, and he actually taught, wait for it, magician David Copperfield.
What?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Oh,
one of his students was David Copperfield.
Whoa.
And then
does he get a postcard on Teacher Appreciation Day?
I hope so.
It's an invisible ink though.
Oh,
yeah, you have to hold it outside for a minute. You open it up and a bunch of little fake butterflies fly out. He's like, "Oh, David, I'm gonna have to clean those up."
You send him one year with a deck of cards in it, and then the next year you find the one he picked in the next envelope.
It's just so good,
so
David.
Tiresome.
I think we have. I mean, the acting is very much of a local independent level.
It has a flavor.
But
yeah, but that it works in this kind of
it's
movie.
the right
though.
flavor.
I've seen horror films where bad acting stands out like a sore thumb. I'm not going to name any names particularly because I don't have one off the top of my head. But I've seen it. I know I've seen it. But there are other ones where it doesn't feel so wrong. Like it sort of fits with the rest of the things going on. And you're not going to this movie to see Oscar performances or great monologues. You want to see giant cock-shaped worms eating people.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a perfectly fine movie.
And don't let anyone tell you it's bad.
Eight-Legged Freaks. That's another movie with bad acting that rules.
Yeah, but this movie delivers on the monster. Like it isn't shy about it. I mean, I think I turned to you, Chad, and I was just like going, they are so proud of this monster. Like it's like
as they should.
Close up, close up, close up, close up.
Here's full light. Like no camera.
And I love the
little, in the basement just hanging out. You know it smells bad.
Versions of it, like the little swimmy tadpoles in the basement. You know, like I love the fact that they came up with all these creative ways. You know, this is my love for practical effects. Like, you know, there's a guy in that suit, like, you know, shaking the big cock monster around. And that's the DIY thing that I just can't get enough of.
And he's getting paid with a smile and a ham sandwich.
And pizza.
Yep.
Oh, pizza. Wow. What kind of productions are you working on?
They know a guy. They know a pizza guy.
Oh, wow.
They're homemade. It's not very good.
It's Lunchables.
It's a little bit of sauce on some white bread, but it works.
Delicious.
Old melty cheese.
But yeah,
the pepperoni is printed off of the paper. But
well, you can't eat all of it. We have to use it for the scene. I do remember.
Oh, my God. Speaking of the vegetarian banquet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when all the middle-aged ladies get together for their vegetarian get-together, and they get completely attacked by a bunch of deadly spawn.
The doilies alone were horrific, but the actual blood on the doilies made it amazing.
Oh, blood on the doilies. That
blood
was
on the
track
doilies. My favorite.
That was on
favorite,
Jesus,
the Killers.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
It's on Jesus. I remember at one point, Dr. AC leaned over and goes, "Oh, by the way, this has one of the greatest closing shots of all time."
I did say that.
Yep, and you were correct.
Cool closing,
it is fantastic. Yeah. It's very like old school Tales from the Vaults of Horror, Tales from the Cryptid comic book. You're right. It's like an EC comic.
EC comic. Yeah, the vibe is all over this movie. And
if this was like one of the early episodes of Tales from the Crypt, I would not be shocked.
It reminded me, like, it felt like a feature-length creep show segment.
Yeah,
almost.
yeah.
Well, when you're looking at that shot that will eventually become the final shot, you're like, is that like a model? Like, what's wrong with this shot here? And then, of course, it pays off later, and you're like, oh, my God, that's why it looked like that.
Yeah.
That's why it looked like some of the shots from the opening of Beetlejuice.
That's it.
Sandworms. Dickworms. You hate them.
You hate them, right?
You hate them.
So let's go back over our features. What kind of rating would we give Frogman out of 5 stars? Let's
5
say.
Frogman.
Give it 5 Frogman?
It delivered on Frogman. So yeah, 5 out of 5 Frogman.
I feel I can't. Nothing's perfect. I can't give it 5, but it was really good, and it delivered on everything it said it was going to be, and everything I wanted it to be. I'd call it okay. I'll call it 4 Frogmans because it was friggin' awesome, but like cut to the chase a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll take one off for length. All right. I'll go 4 out of 5. I agree.
No, it could be 2 hours, but give me some meat.
Give me
for
something
2
in
hours.
there, right?
Yeah.
The relationship wasn't carrying the movie.
I feel like that's kind of where I'm going to land with my 3 Frogmans because about
I like that noise. I don't know what it is, but that noise was very funny.
About 3/5 of this movie is good, and then there's 2/5 of this movie that I would just love to just not have to watch.
It could have been on the floor, I think. You know.
Yeah. So that's why I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5.
Well, he is a professional.
And how about the coffee table?
5 out of 5 coffee tables.
Oh man! For effectiveness alone, this is difficult
Nobody said this was going to be easy, Lucy.
I said it was going to be easy. I said, oh, this is going to be fine. I'm going to hang out with my pals and we're going to talk about movies. And now I got to do scores and ratings and all this other stuff. I'm going to freak out, man.
Yeah.
4
That's how
stars,
good
4
the coffee
stars.
table is.
Yeah, I'd say 4 stars. It was very, very good. It was incredibly well acted, incredibly well written. The effects looked good. I hated every second of it. I wanted to jump off of my balcony watching the movie. And that's what they were going for, I think.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm going to give that one a 4 as well.
Great. I'm going to give it a 4.5 just because I think if you give it a 5, that's, it's too close to God, and we can't have that.
Yeah. Okay.
There's always room for improvement, guys.
I don't know though. With this,
no,
one,
you can't do any more with this movie.
Is there room for improvement on this?
No,
one?
Yeah, it could mail me a check in a blowjob machine, and then it would be a 5 out of 5.
It could end with a hand job. I'll give you that. And that would be like, oh, there you go. This is for sitting through that.
I will call up Caye Casas and see what he says.
Yeah,
tell him exactly what we said.
Hey, if you want 5 out of 5 stars out of Lucy,
right now.
I'm saying 5 out of 5.
And I'm not going to mail it back. That thing's going to live in my house.
Yep. And
5 out of 5 specifically for the reactions it got.
How many deadly spawns?
I'm going to go 3 out of 5.
I think I'm going to throw a 4 on this one because so this is a clean sweep 4 across the board.
Nice.
4.
4
But
all day.
Yeah, I think this was like a really solid month of movies we picked up this
Yup.
year.
Yeah, I was really happy. Yeah,
I liked the
And this is the
creature
correct
effect.
order to watch them in, too, by the way.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
we have curated that for you.
But yeah, I think Deadly Spawn has like way better creature effects than it has any right to with the apparent budget of the film.
Yep.
It's a delight to watch. It made me stay up. Like I didn't turn it off to go to bed when I should have.
Right.
So it kept me going. So I gotta hand it to it. It was really good.
And it saved you from your existential dread after watching the coffee table.
It's
Yeah, that
definitely
and
a
the strong
chaser.
gin and tonic. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, don't be sober when you watch Deadly Spawn. Don't do it.
I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5 as well, because I think obviously like there's room for improvement, but I love this movie. I think it has so much heart. You can just tell that like everybody was killing themselves to make this movie and get it all the way to the finish line. And I love the fact that it made it there and that it has a life, and that it's came out in 83. So we're talking about this movie 40 odd years later. I think that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, don't get me wrong. My 3 out of 5 is just to be a jerk about it.
Awesome.
I can't give it 5. I've done
look.
5 of the whole day. I have to give it
I'm
a critic
Chad.
score.
I'm a contrarian.
Yeah, I mean, I
gotta
just
be
think
the
it
guy.
lacked the dead baby goodness of the
The
coffee
ooey
table.
gooey
The
strawberry
ooey
jam.
strawberry jammy, excellent opening of the coffee table.
And Frogman is available on Screenbox. Coffee Table is on Prime and other VOD outlets. And then Deadly Spawn you can find on Shudder.
Yup.
Watch them all. You'll probably have a pretty good time, except for a good hour and a half.
Where you'll have an amazing time that you'll need to chase with a
would
really
say-
ridiculous cock monster movie.
I think your therapist will have an amazing time writing the bill for you after that. Yeah.
All right. Until next time, keep searching, keep exploring, and keep sharing the scare.
Scare! Frogman!